call me Ishmael. Some years ago, never mind how long precisely, having little or no money in my purse, and nothing in particular to interest me on shore, I thought I would sail about a little and see the watery part of the world. There is nothing surprising in this, if they but know it.
Absorbed in passionate research, while the difficulties were ever increasing. As a matter of fact, it was only after several years of most arduous labor that we finally succeeded in completely separating the new substance, now known to everybody as radium. Here is, briefly, the story of the search and discovery.
Undoubtedly engrosses practically the whole of my life and the whole of my time. But through the realization of freedom of India, I hope to realize and carry on the mission of the Brotherhood of Man.
Throughout history, the ideas and experiences recorded by people have taught, entertained, enlightened, and enriched the generations that followed. Once written, these words became part of our collective human record. Destroy this record, and you starve a uniquely human need, the need to connect with our past. Yet, at this moment, man's collective memory is under attack, eroding away page by page in millions of deteriorating books, newspapers, and archives, severing a link to the past forever.
I became aware of the problem a long time ago, actually myself, in the late 1960s when I started out working in theological libraries and was put in charge of moving a library collection, a very old library collection. And just physically moving that collection, the books would not make it from the cart to the shelf in terms of where they had to be moved to.
The incident in this library that really brought this issue home to us was our collection of the Historical Record Survey done in the 1930s. We had 110 linear feet of material done by workers for the Works Progress Administration in the 1930s. And they were on a fairly, very poor paper. I mean, this is an example of the kind of paper that they do. If you just crumple it, you see it just falls apart. It turns into dust.
It has been said that progress has drawbacks. Ironically, the brittle paper attacking our intellectual record has its roots in the same technology that brought thousands of books to modern readers. Since the mid-19th century, paper makers have used wood pulp and alum to produce a highly acidic breed of paper, inexpensive and easier to produce than rag varieties, but doomed to self-destruct in less than a century. Now, librarians and archivists are faced with the overwhelming challenge of protecting collections that grow more fragile each day. In the United States alone, over 78 million books are already endangered. The danger to archives and newspapers has not yet been estimated. It is difficult to put a price tag on the loss of these items. A repository may hold the only existing copies of the newspapers or historical documents channeled there for safekeeping. The most confounding destruction will be to this great mass of ordinary materials.
We don't know how many archival materials are in jeopardy, but we think that there's certainly millions and millions of individual documents, and these can be letters and diaries and people's scrapbooks. There's an example in one of our early cooperative filming projects that we did at RLG where Cornell University filmed a number of farm journals. And while they might be interesting for agricultural history, what they're really valuable for is what they tell us about life in rural America in the late 19th century.
Preservation has become the word among librarians and archivists faced with the dilemma of our fading historical record. For the vast majority of endangered materials, it is the information within the book or document that needs to be saved, not the article itself. In these cases, the librarian or archivist will choose preservation microfilming.
Microfilming is a medium that we know quite a lot about, and that makes us feel comfortable about it. We know how to store it, we know how to make it so that we hope it will last as close to forever as we can get. Certainly we hope thousands of years.
And I think that the microfiche will be used very much like the book. It's not as handy as the book. You can't curl up with a microfiche reader, but I don't think it's very easy to use a book that is falling apart either.
The University of Michigan is one of several institutions currently investing in preservation microfilming. The university owns one of only 2 or 3 collections on homeopathic medicine left in the United States. Unfortunately, most of it was brittle and inaccessible to the general public. So the decision was made to microfilm.
This book is a German publication from the late 19th century about homeopathic medicine. The paper is brittle, and the title page has become detached from the rest of the book because it was too brittle to withstand being turned. The entire book has broken out of its binding. Because it is brittle, you can see little pieces of it here, we cannot economically preserve it by any other method than microfilming.
Brittle books, like the University of Michigan's homeopathy collection, require special handling when being microfilmed. Pages